Welcome back, West Michigan. I'm Sandy Plouff, your hostess for Sense and Sensibility, and my guest today is Rick Tolle, and we've been talking about Social Security and benefits and different things related to. So, Rick, I'm going to ask you about some of the newer things that we've been talking about, Social Security, disability, and other areas in Social Security. What's new on the horizon?
Some of the new things that the Social Security office has instituted, and not new this year, but more recent than some people might expect, is the dire need or critical need case. If somebody has an urgent need to have their case evaluated, they can ask the Social Security Hearings Office for a special, accelerated, or quick hearing, and to have their case looked at above everybody else. They put your file on the top of the stack, so to speak, and you don't have to wait the typical 18 to 24 months that it now takes to get in front of a judge. There's a backlog of approximately 10,000 cases in our West Michigan Grand Rapids office.
And that's just to get in front of a judge?
That's to get in front of a judge. These are all cases waiting to be heard by 6 or 7 judges over there. And if somebody is being threatened with foreclosure or eviction, has a critical need with regard to no money for medication, or needs a surgery that is not covered by their current insurance, or may have some terminal illness where they may not be able to wait for 2 years to get their hearing because they won't be around, we can ask for a dire need or critical need special classification where we can get the case heard now.
Wow, expedite things really quick then.
Yes, they will. They have a special, and now just the last few months they've instituted a new program for an injured returning soldier.
Really?
Any of our troops who are coming back from a war zone, who have a disability, or something's happened to them, and they're now back in the States and they've been discharged. Of course, veterans benefits is a whole nother realm. And this office, although we can talk to somebody about veterans benefits and make a proper referral to an advocate or a disabled American veterans program that represents vets, we don't do those cases. But Social Security has addressed the Wounded Soldier Act and is giving that part of our population special attention too, as they rightly deserve.
Wow.
Okay?
That's really amazing. Now, some of the other things about Social Security disability, let's go back just a little bit. We were talking about if we thought, if you had an issue and it was listed that you might be eligible for Social Security disability, we were talking about going online and checking out the application and such. But there are other ways too, because we do know that some people don't feel comfortable with a computer or don't have a computer. You can go down to your local office.
Yes.
And be evaluated, not be evaluated, but they will help you with the application there?
Yes, they will. There are 3 ways to apply. Of course, you can apply online, which is quite a challenging process for somebody who's not, such as myself, who's not a computer whiz or the fastest place in town. That way is usually faster because they get your application instantaneously once it's complete. But another very fast way is to go and call the 800 number in our phone book, or if you visit the local Social Security office, we have a great district office with some very skilled representatives at 2585 Barclay Street. It's at the corner of Barclay and Sherman. And you can go in there and take a number, and they'll either same day or next day get paperwork to you so you can start completing that paperwork. The third way is to call the 800 number, and they'll do an interview and get your paperwork mailed out, and they'll handle your application by phone and via through the mail. So we basically have several choices here for claimants, which is a Social Security applicant is termed a claimant, somebody claiming disability or retirement benefits, and they have 3 ways to help us out.
We talked some about the dire needs and how you can expedite matters, but if a person applied for Social Security disability and it wasn't a quote a dire need, how long might it take for them to actually get the Social Security disability? And I say this because I do have friends, yes, who have been through the process.
Sandy has a lot of friends. I can testify for her.
And they've been through the process, and they'll say, "Well, I've been through my 2nd hearing, and I keep going through these hearings, and they want to give up." So how does that go?
Well, and that's where many people turn to a representative. Another fairly new program at the Social Security offices, you're allowed to either have an attorney representative or even a non-attorney representative. Non-attorney representatives who have become certified and trained through the administration can represent claimants in the disability process. Attorney representatives such as myself, we're trained as well. Of course, we went to law school for 3 years or more, but we've become experienced and familiar with the regulations, the statutes, the rules, which incidentally are all available to us at the libraries and online, but they are very, very complicated rules. And Sandy, you asked me about the listed impairments. If somebody doesn't meet or qualify under the listed impairments, which is most claimants, then Social Security will look at your age. If you're over 50 or even over 55, you become in a more favored category, and Social Security won't be as strict on those individuals when they determine whether they can return to their previous work or whether they can engage in employment which involves arduous, heavy, or stressful situations. So the rules become much gentler and easier for individuals. The Social Security will, however, look at whether somebody can return to their prior work, or do they have transferable skills that can allow them to work a job that's very similar even though they couldn't work their prior job. For example, a construction manager who was on the site and doing a lot of lifting and moving around, there may be a job out there as simply an estimator where the person wouldn't be required to lift everything but can transfer skills into a different area of that industry or a different area of that profession. And so a vocational expert who attends these hearings, and he's trained in job placement and job training and is an expert hired by the agency, they will have to make that assessment whether this person has that transferable skill, and we will decide whether he is or she is or not disabled based on whether these skills allow them to work another field or another job. And then that vocational expert will produce numbers of how many of those jobs are available in Michigan. Well, we know that construction jobs, for example, are probably less now than they were a few years ago, but as long as they exist in significant numbers in the economy of this state, the court has to look at those jobs and say, we're going to make a decision whether that person is eligible based on do they have the ability to do a prior job or a job that's very similar. And so that's why, and at this point, I tell people, they get frustrated. People have applied, they've been denied, they're going around for a second or a third time. At least come and talk to us. We don't charge a fee up front. We take a percentage of your case if we prevail. If you don't get paid, we don't get paid.
With that, we're going to take a quick break.
Thank you.
Come right back and talk to Rick.